have gone live. We'll see how long it takes for there to be folks.
There's a reason I'm Aunt Petunia's favorite nephew.
This match already in progress. And not going so swell for my team thus far.
Sure seems to power him up.
Oh, stop that push at least.
They can't hurt us now.
We'll see how this goes from here. Now I see there's a couple folks. Feel free to ask questions as you see fit, as you feel so moved, about whatsoever topics you please. There we go, healed up. I don't know what would happen if I got a reasonable amount of sleep. Things might align in a negative way. Things could all go bad. That would be an unprecedented situation.
Can't get rid of me!
You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
Oh, good. Yes, man of 1,000 heresies there is beginning his journey to celestial level competitive Spider-Man.
We are.
Which I'm sure he'll pull off in 10 to 12 hours of playtime.
Give me all you got.
My favorite Gnostic sect. There are a lot of good ones.
I'm hulking out.
Oh, there we go. We've got competition. Probably the Valentinians. I mean, you got to go with the classics. They're ones who we know the most about, you know.
Ready to keep on rocking.
Did you notice when I was using it with the thing? You have to, with the thing on this bumper, you have to like just touch the lip. If you bounce off the back, you hit the lip of the balcony and bounce back. And then you just bounce up and down looking dumb for a while. Well, so the Valentinians are like what's reflected in the Nag Hammadi library for the most part. They're sort of the classical, you know, Gnostics as such, as it were.
We are undefeatable! Shields up! Look out! Still a chance to stop them! We've got trouble.
Behold! Dark child!
Fire mode!
Give me all you got.
The key when you hear some of these ults is rule number 1:
Only 60
don't
seconds
panic. Like that Dark Child ult we foiled pretty effectively by not flipping out.
Supernova!
Clothing colors, like which color in particular? Like I think in a lot of cases, right? Like the FBI agents all wearing black and white. It's meant to reflect sort of their view of the world. At least when they start, right? And then you notice on the original show, when things sort of fall apart for Coop, like he stops wearing the black and white suit, starts wearing like the plaid shirt and more colors. Like his worldview kind of gets shaken. I think red is almost always connected to the Lodge in some way. Though it's not always obvious how. And I think blue is the opposite. And I think that's connected to the whole Blue Rose thing. Right? That, like, blue is a representation of the forces that are opposed to, like, the Black Lodge spirits. And I think green is usually something's about to happen.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Who needs 4 when you got one like me?
So all that came up on my screen is that your toddler did there first, and I didn't get the rest of the sentence. So I'm assuming and hoping it was his first good thing that he did.
Check my watch. It's almost clobbering time.
I can handle anything now.
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
All I saw was that your toddler did there first, and then it cut off.
Are you a superhero?
So I didn't see first what.
I'll let you show me.
Benji's here.
Be your best self.
Oh wow,
Battle starts
yeah.
in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
More foes to conquer.
This was the day for it.
We need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
Well, me being a non-professional, I play on PS5, so the PS5 Twitch chat overlay is possibly not, you know, the greatest example of such a system in the world.
Come, my minion!
But it mostly suffices. That only happens once in a while. So most of the time that doesn't happen.
They've made it halfway! Stop them! Better stop that vehicle!
I can
They got us out.
Oh boy, I went too deep. Well, no, I didn't go too deep, just the rest of my team died. Okay, that's fair.
They hit a checkpoint.
One of the signs you've been playing this game too much is that you start hearing, you know, better stop that vehicle when you close your eyes and try to go to sleep. Wow, Spidey'd. Look at me the side. There was a period of time.
I got you. I feel like I'm.
Who's the closest to Symmetra?
Better stop that vehicle.
That's a good question. Cloak and Dagger have some abilities similar to Symmetra. The Invisible Woman kinda well, kinda. There's not a direct analog.
Your powers are mine!
Yeah, there was a period back in the day in the late 80s when Tetris first got big where, like, I would try to go to sleep and I'd just have, like, falling blocks
Better stop that vehicle.
in my dreams because, you know, I was about as good at time management in my youth as I am today, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Co-op time.
Even more heavily armed than I am.
It's spider time!
One octopus.
Yeah, okay. After this, I will try to play, Spider-Man. But I do not guarantee I will play an entire game as Spider-Man. I can't bear, like, playing that badly. Like, it affects my self-esteem. So, I know you have none, Man of 1,000 Heresies, so it's not a problem for you. But, but I will give it a shot. It will be my third shot at playing Spider-Man in my history of playing this game. And the other two were disasters. So.
Can't get rid of me!
Better stop that vehicle. They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
Feeling better already.
Get ready.
Ah, there we go. There's an example of what not to do. Don't try and stand on the ground and box with a thing when you're playing Spider-Man. This guy has the rare and now unavailable winter event skin for Venom. Don't see that much. Oh, I was wailed.
Against the world.
He wailed on me.
Better stop that vehicle. Stop them.
Yeah, Invisible Woman can kind of throw healing wells.
Feel the pull.
Healing well shields. That's a damage thing she just threw there, but and then basically her ult is to throw down a giant healing well.
Better stop that vehicle.
Much better. Disappear.
There it is. And the organ hits because she's in her wedding dress skin.
Co-op time.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Yeah, my wife told me earlier she had been playing around a little with Cloak and Dagger and liked playing them, so.
And this is why I chose War. Anyone willing to help?
Against the world.
Yeah, this is one of those. So, this is one of those games where it's going really badly, and then a bunch of people quit, on the one side and get replaced. The people who replace them are better. So you try and make a go of it, like right at the end. Every once in a while, one of those works out and you actually win, but usually you don't. Roachmaster 69. There's a screen name for you. Do you just replay Knights of the Old Republic over and over and over again? I have a nephew who does that. I've played that game an awful lot of times too, so.
Or villain. I'm not judging.
I like that I'm getting forwarded questions by my wife. I feel like Jack Van Impe. Here we go. This is gonna stink. But now all the pressure's off me because this is just gonna be terrible. So, are we talking about nonfiction or fiction? Like, nonfiction. I've been a big fan of Tom Holland for a long time. His history books. I did that review of Dominion. Lots of people, in our circles, as they say, heard about him because of Dominion. But like his series on the history of the Roman emperors is pretty cool.
Okay, but I don't think that's a real thing, Tony.
So, Tom Holland, I would say, first book of his I read was Persian Fire, about the Persian Wars.
The battle starts in 5, 4.
Mary Beard's stuff about the Roman Empire is good too.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
In terms of fiction, I read a lot of Stephen King stuff, not all of his stuff, because no one can read all of his stuff. Like, he literally produces too much stuff.
Okay, who ordered the calamari? I require some aid. Namor's beasts have been
Pew pew!
That put some pep in my step.
Looks like the mission area.
Some of Tom Perrotta's books are good. For fiction stuff.
Your Namor's friends?
Whoop, whoop. So like I said, trying to think, I just read a couple of other... Oh, I read well, yeah, I don't know if I could recommend him, but, so let's just say I'm not recommending him. But, we'll call this a confession. I've read pretty much, everything Chuck Palahniuk has ever written. He's the guy who wrote the novel Fight Club. It's probably the thing that he's written that people have heard of. He's written a lot of other stuff. He had a middle period of his writing. Like, Fight Club was his first novel. And his first few were really good.
Now I've got something.
And then he had a middle period where he was doing a lot of just sort of edgelord stuff that wasn't as good. Because he had this sort of reputation as the author of Fight Club, so he felt like, you know, oh, I have to do a thing all the time, you know. And then lately, his last couple have gone back to being pretty good again. Like, he did one that's about addiction that's pretty good. But it's all very graphic. It's all full of unnecessary sex and violence and stuff. That's why I say it's more of a confession than a recommendation that I read it. So you can see how well I play Spider-Man.
Now I've got something to prove.
The Scarlet Witch awaits your call.
So,
Your team's capture progress.
I'm gonna die one more time as Spider-Man. Probably not after much time. And, then I'm gonna switch before my team reports me for throwing. So. There, see? I didn't kill myself. I'm impressed. That's better than the first time I played him. I'm making progress.
Chicken soup.
Goodbye.
They've almost got it!
Yeah, literally the first time I played him, we were on defense, and I was swinging out of my, out of the base to go take up a defensive position, and I flew off the side of the map and died. So that's why I say, the fact that I was able to salvage that is a great improvement over my past Spider-Man performance. But now I have afflicted this poor team I'm on enough. Let me switch to a character I know how to... It may be too late, but let me at least switch to a character I know how to play here for the last few seconds.
They look like they mean business.
Double KO!
I thought you had nothing's happening now.
Control C's!
Behind you.
Oh, are you talking about the shield? This? That Spider-Man on the other team, on the other hand, is good.
Nothing can harm me now. Someone to service.
To pay.
I've located an enemy. This time I need
Yeah, you better run.
You can always count on me.
I'm taking my stand.
It's clobbering time! Solid teamwork.
Here.
Man could probably use this. Keep it easy. Let's rumble.
Did T'Challa just murk himself? I think he did.
I am feeling reckless. Tremble before fast!
He's a pretty good Black Panther, too.
Disappear!
Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, we may not have pulled that off after all. I don't think anybody could get there in time. But yes, it's amazing how much difference it makes if you switch to a character you can actually play, even as just one player on the team.
It ain't easy being this strong.
And now you've seen the horror that is me trying to play Spider-Man.
Force field, good to go.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Even though I have verified that Psylocke is also listed as 5-star difficulty, like, I have successfully played Psylocke.
Victor's always had a way of
Like, successfully enough to get her achievement, like her trophy.
I plan to
So,
make a delivery of my own.
whereas you could see me with Spider-Man, that was not happening.
The battle starts in 5.
So I safely say
3, 2, 1.
Spider-Man's the toughest character to play in the game.
Got it?
You think this is a challenge? Try raising 2 superpowered kids.
But yeah, feel free to keep questions coming about random stuff.
Healing supplies at last.
Moon Knight has set a trap.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
Oh, you remember that back in the day.
Than expected.
Well, that's a long story that you're expecting me to tell in front of my wife that involves somebody I dated before I met my wife. So, I don't know how much detail I want to go into on that. But,
This conch is radiant. This should keep me going.
I did not. A person who I had met when we were both living elsewhere lived in Clearwater, who I visited a few times before that whole thing kind of fell apart. So that's what's going on there. In terms of the ancient days as God the Father, so I could punt to my next book, the Baal book. But what's going on there in Daniel is the seed of the enthronement of the Son of Man before the Ancient of Days
Ready to keep on rocking.
is a reworking of the enthronement of Baal, the seed of the enthronement of Baal from the Baal cycle, in which he's enthroned before his father El. So the description of the Ancient of Days is basically a description of El, the father of Baal. But it's getting remixed into a representation of the actual God and the Messiah. And then what happens is, in Revelation, that kind of gets remixed again by St. John, who takes elements of the portrayal of the Ancient of Days and ascribes them to Jesus. So the figure of Jesus as he's described at the beginning of Revelation is elements of the Ancient of Days and elements of the Son of Man put together, which St. John is doing as a way of, he of course didn't have the Chalcedonian language of two natures, but he's describing that in other language, right, without what later became the official language. So that vision by Daniel is not Daniel seeing God the Father, it's him seeing a representation of God, a representation of the human Messiah, who is nonetheless being depicted as divine. So even that, after a certain fashion, is sort of a pre-Chalcedonian way of talking about Christ's identity as fully divine and fully human. Does that make sense?
The area's almost yours.
This time I need healing. This way, Susie. The additional threat is abated. Damage resistance increased.
The moon haunts you.
Wow, that's a sad Moon Knight. So the mark of a not good Moon Knight is he sits around and blinks like that, ineffectually, and waits for his ult to come up, and then all of a sudden, throws his ult on the point and tries to get kills. Okay, so what's confusing?
There's a reason I'm Aunt Petunia's favorite nephew.
No. The Ancient of Days is a representation of God.
30 seconds before you attack.
Okay,
Get
so
ready.
the vision is not about the Ancient of Days. The vision is about the Son of Man. So it's the vision of the Son of Man. And the vision is communicating to Daniel something about the Messiah.
Goodbye.
right? The Son of Man.
The battle starts in 5,
Namely that he is
4,
both
3,
human and divine,
2, 1.
right?
All you need to do is capture the
And that he
mission
is the Son, and that he is the Son of God.
You guys go for the cavalry.
And he is presented as the true Son of God over against Baal, who is the false Son of God.
Goodbye.
But the figure of the Ancient of Days there is essentially just a representation of God based on the iconography of El,
Mission area is yours.
literally God, but, you know, El, Baal's father.
Nobody can hurt us. Mission area is
Because again, the Messiah is being presented as the Son of God.
the world.
And then St. John takes that and is trying to make even clearer the point that Christ is both God and man, and so he takes elements of the Ancient of Days. He sees elements of the Ancient of Days
Fantastic.
Goodbye.
in Jesus, as well as elements of the Son of Man. This is why, I know it's a little weird, but so this is why you'll read some church fathers and they'll say that the Ancient of Days represents Christ's divine nature. Now, they don't mean that in the sense that, like, Christ's divine nature and human nature are two different people, a la Nestorianism, right? That's not what they're trying to say. What they mean is that
Glad I wasn't late for club.
the image of the Ancient of Days is just an image of divinity in that vision, not of God the Father's person,
Seek our foes. Here they are.
right? Because if that's an image of God the Father's person, then that would mean that St. John would be saying in Revelation that Jesus is a mixture of God the Father and a human, which would be heretical, right? What? I will get into why Reed Richards is awesome here in a second. I just want to make sure I mention other things first, but I wanted to say one of the things that helps with interpreting stuff like this that's tricky and confusing is if you look at like what the fathers say about it and you see them saying multiple different things, try to see if you can see a way in which both of the things they're saying could be right. Right? Where they don't disagree. Or where at least you can say one of them isn't like just straight up wrong. Right? Like, because the fathers are wiser than me and stuff. They're probably seeing things I don't see. And sometimes there's multiple levels to this stuff.
Back, baby.
So, why Reed Richards is awesome. So, Reed Richards is the smartest man in the world. The stretching powers are not really what makes him a hero, right? Like, he's the smartest man in the world. First person to access other dimensions, right? Like, discovered the negative zone. This makes him cool. The stretching powers themselves, like there's other characters in comics with stretching powers. Plastic Man, Elongated Man. It is not directly related to that debate. Not directly. I'm sure it came up. But yeah, that's a bunch of nonsense that you should avoid. So, and good for you leaving Twitter. One of the interesting things with Reed Richards, is that every alternate universe Reed Richards, just about every Reed Richards from an alternate dimension an alternate Earth, other than the main Earth, is evil. Like, he's the smartest man in the world, and he turns to evil at some point. Out of frustration, or anger, or what have you. The only one who actually is good is, like, the main 616 universe, Reed Richards, and that's because he has his family.
The right heroes could
So
be
Reed
all
Richards is not only the smartest man in the world, who has used his genius to save the world innumerable times,
Got one right.
but he is one of the most wholesome superheroes of all time. Like, he's not motivated by people having murdered his whole family or anything. He's not out for revenge. Like, he just wants to solve all the problems and create a better world with his genius. And he has his family that keeps him grounded.
Family always comes first, even when it's Johnny.
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
Are you actually made rocks?
So,
Are you actually a raccoon?
yeah, it's
We're gonna fight.
it's not entirely impossible, right? So, I don't want to just say out of hand, no, there's no way any Greeks saw anything even vaguely resembling the Torah ever in their lives. There is no evidence that they did, right? But it's been highly... Well, okay, so there's been, over the last 30 years, there's been a lot of reconsideration of the origins of the Greek people and Greek culture. You've probably heard me talk about that on Lord of Spirits, how Greece isn't really the first Western culture, they're the last ancient Near Eastern culture. And in the past, folks haven't fully appreciated how much of Greek culture, including religion, comes from Syria, from Anatolia, and those Near Eastern groups. The Greeks themselves always said that it came from there and from Egypt, but of course, you know, scholars never think ancient people know what they're talking about when they talk about themselves and their own history. So that's been kind of reappraised. So for example, it's not so much, for example, that like, oh, you know, we've been worshiping Zeus and we just discovered Baal and they seem kind of similar. They're storm gods, so let's just say they're the same guy. Like, Zeus seems to actually have been derived from Baal at one point. There's other elements that get folded in there. But they get separated and then kind of get reunited by Alexander the Great, not realizing why the similarities are there, right? Fully. But, where's the rest of my team? That's a interesting question. Oh, there they are. Okay. So, there was a lot more back and forth, right? The Philistines came from the Aegean, right? Tribe of Dan was probably ethnically Greek. But, but here's the thing.
They'll never see me.
There's no real evidence that the Torah itself circulated beyond Israel. In the sense that they were not particularly keen to circulate it, right? Like, they weren't out there trying to, like, bring the good news of the Torah, right? Like, to the Gentile nations. By the time it gets the Torah gets translated into Greek at Alexandria, we're talking about a century after Plato. And there's no evidence that somebody like Plato could read any Semitic dialect, let alone Hebrew or Aramaic. So it's highly unlikely they actually did.
Behold
I
the
think
God of Thunder!
the broader point that those fathers are trying to make is true in the sense that whatever they had that was right, whatever they said that was true, right, and worthwhile and noble, came to them from God. It was revealed to them by the same God who spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. So in that sense, right, like there's a connection between the revelation of the Torah and their revelation. I feel like I'm 6v1ing a lot in this game. At that time I had a healer standing right there. But anyway. So yeah, I think that broader point, right, that the revelation of God is the revelation of God, right, and God revealed himself to Moses on Mount Sinai, right, and so whatever they had was not the product, whatever they had that was good and worthwhile and true was not the product of their own mind or a product of their pagan traditions, but it had been revealed to them by the true God. So I think the Church Fathers are right in that sense, although the specifics of like Plato or Socrates or Aristotle having read the Torah is, like literally read it, is very unlikely just given the historical realities. Jeff, why did you eat me? You're on my team. Jeff. Oi. Jeff is the only character in this game where you can kill a guy on your own team. So there you go. If you want to troll, Jeff's the way to do it. So, the thing I think really causes problems for Wolverines. Wolverine is in general an anti-tank weapon. Because their usual rotation, like, since the thing's immune to knockback, they can't do their bit where they tackle you. The tackle doesn't work. So they have to kind of redo their whole rotation. And yes, there is no even vague sense in which Hebrew is a dialect of Greek. The Greek alphabet is derived from the Phoenician alphabet by way of Aramaic. But that's the only connection. And there are some words that make their, particularly religious words associated with religious ritual, that make their way from Akkadian into the very early phase of archaic Greek religion. So that's a thing.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Yeah. There are, however, the thing has the big drawback of having no real ranged attack. Do I have any Zoomer movie recommendations in the sense of Zoomer movies that I would recommend, or movies that I would recommend to Zoomers that they should watch? Oh, movies for Zoomers. I think I had a list that people went through. Yeah. I mean, They Live, you have to see. It is a masterpiece. And Demolition Man was a must-see.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Who needs four when you got one like me?
Everyone needs to see Office Space if they haven't seen it. Like, there are just a... you gotta be young, have fun, and drink Pepsi in the chat. Yeah, like, you could go through the movies of 1999. Like, all the movies that were released in 1999. And, it was, like, one of the greatest movie years in modern history.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Magic, so your portals take you to another dimension too, yeah? What's it like?
Let me think.
Emotionally, anyway.
Yeah, Fight Club was in 99, Office Space was in 99. Shawshank Redemption might have been 99.
Starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the
Yeah,
mission area.
the Constantine movie, which they're apparently making a sequel to after all these years with Keanu Reeves, is a fun movie that I enjoy, but has absolutely nothing to do with the John Constantine character in the comics. Who is a British guy who was deliberately designed by the artist to look like Sting. I know, I'm not joking, they're making one. Yeah, you should have also bought yourself a house when you were a fetus, and then you'd have one now. At a reasonable interest rate. Yeah, movie-wise, everyone needs to see the movie Dead Zone. Like, Dead Zone is a must-see. That is my comfort movie. I've watched Dead Zone probably dozens of times. Starring Christopher Walken. It's a Stephen King adaptation.
You kidding? I feel fantastic.
Let's see. What are some other great old forgotten movies? If you want an almost completely unknown indie film, there is a movie starring the great William Shatner called Free Enterprise that is hysterical. And if you know like tons about Star Trek, it's even funnier because there are these like tiny in-jokes in it. Basically, it's about these two kids who grow up with like William Shatner in general and Captain Kirk in particular as their hero and role model, and then they meet William Shatner. So William Shatner plays himself in this film. And when they originally conceived the film, they wanted William Shatner to be like this really wise person who gave them good advice and like helped them get their lives together in this sort of heartwarming movie. And Shatner refused to do it. He said he would only do it if they made him like give bad advice. Like, oh yeah, my wife as usual is right. If you have not seen Oliver Stone's JFK as a Zoomer, you must see that movie. Like, I showed JFK. Yeah, I've seen Trekkies. I showed Oliver Stone's JFK to my nephew, who's a Zoomer, and like, he didn't sleep the next night. Like, he could not. Oh, suicide pact, I guess. He could not fathom. Oh boy, I just got this video thrown off of YouTube later. Anyway, by saying the S word. Yeah, he couldn't sleep the next night because he just kept saying like, "Wait, people know this? People know this?" Like through the whole movie. It's like, oh yeah, everybody knows that. It's like, what? How can people know this? Plus, JFK is one of the most quotable. JFK is one of the most quotable films of all time. Not necessarily quotable in mixed company, some of the quotes, but definitely quotable nonetheless.
Cheap tricks, wizard. Oh, I'm fine. Don't mind me.
You kidding? I feel fantastic. Veggies here.
Can't hurt me now.
Let's do this, Cap.
By the eye of Agamotto.
Ooh, Agamotto.
Bad choice, kid. Armored up. Coming through.
The final 10 seconds.
So final movie rec, and this is one of those things that where I'm gonna mention the movie and I'm gonna tell you about the movie, but then I'm gonna give myself plausible deniability by saying I, as a priest, did not necessarily recommend this movie to you. I just pointed out its existence. Is the forgotten Quentin Tarantino film, which is a little film called True Romance. It was not directed by Tarantino. Tarantino wrote the script, and it was directed by Tony Scott. Just had its 30th anniversary. Stars Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette, and then has like everyone in it. Like James Gandolfini's in it. Christopher Walken's in it. Bronson Pinchot is in it. Like everyone is in it. And it's sort of the forgotten Tarantino film. He wrote it like after Reservoir Dogs, but before Pulp Fiction came out and was big, so he wasn't like the big... He was like the hot young indie director and not like the big director. Yeah, it's called True Romance. Yes, Brad Pitt is in it. Michael Rappaport is in it. Appropriating black culture as usual. Val Kilmer is in it. Val Kilmer is in it playing Elvis Presley. If you do watch it, though, and again, I'm not recommending that you do, but if you happen to, you should watch the director's cut rather than the theatrical cut. It's better. Yeah, that he wrote the True Romance script and sold it, and he wrote the Natural Born Killers script and sold it. Yeah, I would disagree with both of those. I think Val Kilmer was not... Well...
30 seconds before you attack.
No, he was not the best Batman. He was not a bad Batman by any means, but I don't think he was the best. And that was by far not the worst movie. Batman and Robin was a far worse movie. There is supposedly an original Schumacher cut of Batman Forever that is far more serious,
4, 3, 2,
that none of us have seen,
all you need to do is capture the area.
but that did exist. And Val Kilmer, back when they released the Snyder Cut, yeah, Tombstone, there's a movie to watch if you haven't seen it. Oh, ye Zoomers. You can find out why Kurt Russell named his son Wyatt.
You kidding? I feel fat.
The spiders are cute.
You'll need to hit harder.
Invisible?
But yeah, back when the Snyder Cut got released, and David Ayer was trying to get his cut of Suicide Squad released, which never got released, Val Kilmer was actually talking about the fact that cut actually did exist, and he had seen it. And he wanted to get it released, but it never happened, so. And Warner Brothers is more about shelving movies than releasing them now, so. I don't know that we'll ever get to see it. But you can tell when you watch Batman Forever that the makings of a different movie were there. That at one point, and this is apparently one of the things with the Schumacher cut, apparently Two-Face had a much bigger part at one point.
I can handle anything now.
But the studio wanted more Jim Carrey because he was the hot actor at the time, you know.
Your powers are mine!
Disappear! Shields up!
Without my strike at me if you dare.
I suck!
But there are way more horrible things that could have happened with that whole Batman franchise. Tim Burton was really dead set on having Chris Rock play Robin, for example. He tried to get that in the first two movies and didn't succeed.
More reckless.
And that would have been terrible. Not because of any racial issue, just because Chris Rock cannot act. Like, I don't know if you've seen a movie with Chris Rock trying to act, but,
Tremble before Bath!
That vehicle to its destination. It's time!
me personally, though, in terms of picking a saint to focus on during Lent, I think that could be a thing that's good, especially if it's a saint who wrote, right? Like, focus on trying to read the writings of one particular saint during Lent. Make that a focus.
Taking less damage.
I have for decades now read Nietzsche during Lent. But that's just my own peculiarity, so I'm not saying I recommend that practice to everyone.
I am strength before Bath. Solid teamwork.
I'm not big into Spinoza. I guess that ruins my Judaizer street cred. Yeah, like there's a scene. So there's a scene in Lethal Weapon 4, which Chris Rock is in. And to be fair to Chris Rock, he has some okay chemistry in that movie with Danny Glover, right? But there is a scene. There's a hallway scene at the police station in Lethal Weapon 4 where
Can't get rid of me.
where Chris Rock does the actual worst piece of body acting I have ever seen in a film. Like any film. Like I'm talking about a trauma film, a full moon film. Like it is just the worst, like, thing. This little bit of business he does with his body. Like he clearly didn't know what to do in the moment. That was one of his first movie roles. I mean, I'm picking on him. And his scene in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker was kind of genius. But, yeah.
Behind you!
Tremble before Bath.
Yes, I am the person who is not a Kevin Smith fan who has spent the most time with Kevin Smith. I had lunch with him at Comic-Con in 1998. And, like, all these people were super excited. Oh, what'd you talk to him about? Oh, that must have been awesome. I'm like, I was never a Kevin Smith fan. So, it was weird.
Got your back.
I'm taking less damage.
Extra club.
Although at the time, so true story. This is what we call a callback in the business, guys. Going back to something earlier. At her behest, I had broken up with that girl in Clearwater, and this was before Kevin Smith was married, and I did give him her phone number. So I tried to hook up Kevin Smith with my ex-girlfriend. That is a true story.
You kidding? I feel fantastic.
And it was her from the Tampa area, so... See, now the conversation's all been tied together. One big Ouroboros.
Strong enough already.
Your devotion to Namor sealed your fate. Look out, behind us.
Disappear! Come with us, strange creature.
So, like, why do Lokis do that? Right? Like, he throws down his healing circle, his "you can't kill me" healing circle, and then he runs out of it to get away from me.
I unleash the Vishanti's power.
Solid team.
Double KO!
Hurricane incoming!
Finally, someone would.
You're handling it! Keep going!
Favorite 20th century saint? So, probably Saint Raphael, although I will always have, I'm not just saying this because she's in the chat,
No time to be
I'll always have a special place in my heart for Saint John Maximovich because my wife and I went and venerated his relics earlier the day that I proposed to her in San Francisco. So, yeah.
Keep fighting until we have a winner.
So yes, gentlemen, if she'll venerate holy relics with you, she's a keeper.
Keep up the momentum.
assemble!
I'm taking less damage.
Star, we shall guide you.
Solid teamwork.
Move them away.
You know what to do, spiders? Soldiers. The spiders are cute, but deadly. I feel tough.
Foul creatures, return to
Anyone willing to help?
Foul creatures return to the seas at once. Come on, Doctor Strange. Octopi need love too.
That's it! Don't let anything stand in your way. Nothing's getting through now. Only 60 seconds left. As usual, Namor only draws me out.
Look out, behind you.
Down to 30. Shields up. Focus on the back.
Your powers are mine!
Disappear!
This one's down to the wire. You go, Storm.
Behind us.
Keep fighting until we have
Assemble!
He's not so good at jumping, this Captain America.
Creatures have risen from the realm below.
I see them.
This is your big chance!
Such strange creatures lurk below the waves.
You can't have an iron.
Here we go.
This won't be an easy road.
There we go.
Another epic victory! Big win!
Yeah, that Captain America on the other team was not doing well. Not acquitting himself well. Oh dang, look at the kills on that Doctor Strange. That's impressive. Or are we having a love fest? If we're having a love fest, I'll love everybody too. Okay. So I'm going to do the last game. As usual. First character I see in the chat that is not Spider-Man will be who I play. I said that is not Spider-Man. And I think you picked Captain America last stream. You can't just keep asking Captain America every time. Okay. So I'm going to do Storm, even though I'm not very good with Storm. And I will, while I'm doing Storm, I will, playing this last game of Storm, I will explain the difference between the Roman Catholic view of the Eucharist and the Orthodox view of the Eucharist vis-a-vis Eucharistic adoration. So, I do have this cool white skin for, well, that sounded awkward. I do have this cool white outfit skin for Storm. That I got from racking up in-game achievements. So, the major difference vis-a-vis Eucharistic adoration has to do with the reception history of the Seventh Ecumenical Council in the West. The Seventh Ecumenical Council... See, I don't even have any cool sprays. That's how little I play Storm.
What does Krakoa have to say about Doom and the time stream entanglement?
Chronovium has driven Krakoa.
So,
we have to figure it out on our own.
The main difference is... It has to do with the reception history of the Seventh Ecumenical Council, which the West accepted, then rejected, then accepted again. But when they accepted it again, they sort of issued a signing statement.
Got it? Sometimes empathy is a heavy burden to me.
So there were two waves. There were two waves of iconoclasm.
I need assistance.
The first wave of iconoclasm centered on whether icons should be given the same sort of authority and veneration as the gospel book and the cross and the scriptures in general. And that's the one that was really dealt with in the Seventh Ecumenical Council. And then the second wave of iconoclasm arose. And that's why there had to be what's really the Eighth Ecumenical Council in 843, which is what we're actually celebrating in the Sunday of the Triumph of Orthodoxy, which was the final sort of repression of second wave iconoclasm. Second wave iconoclasm, the central argument they made that was different was they said that only the Eucharist is truly an icon of Christ. Because to truly be an icon, the image has to be homoousios, has to be consubstantial with the prototype, right? And they were doing this based on in the Seventh Ecumenical Council, when the first wave of iconoclasm was put down, they used an argument that they got from St. Basil the Great, that the honor given to the image passes to the prototype. But when St. Basil the Great said that, he wasn't talking about iconography, he was talking about the doctrine of the Holy Trinity. And so what he was talking about was, one of the reasons why we don't worship three gods is that we have one worship, right? There are three persons, right? But Christ and the Holy Spirit are both the express image of the Father. And so the worship that is given to them passes on to the Father. Therefore, we have only one worship. Our worship is unified. We don't worship the three persons separately. In worshiping the Holy Trinity, it is really one worship. That was St. Basil's argument. So when they quoted that, they were sort of taking that argument, saying, well, this also applies to icons in terms of the veneration that's given to icons passes to the prototype, right? And the second wave iconoclasts responded by saying, okay, well, but there's a big difference there, because the Son and the Spirit are consubstantial with the Father, whereas an icon is not consubstantial with the saint or the holy person depicted, right? And since they're not homoousios, right, we're in a different territory, the argument doesn't apply in the same way, right? So they're basically saying that argument really works. So they said you can make that argument about the Eucharist. The Eucharist is consubstantial with Christ because it's his body and blood. So if you want to say the Eucharist could be worshipped, then okay. But otherwise, right, that argument doesn't work, said second wave iconoclasts. So in responding to them in 843, at the Triumph of Orthodoxy, the church said, no, an icon, by virtue of being an image, is not necessarily consubstantial with its prototype. Witness, all humans are made in the image of God. We are not consubstantial with God the Father. Right? Like, that's not every human is. So, therefore, that can't be a requirement to be a valid image and for veneration, honor, etc. to pass to the prototype. In the West, after receiving the council and then rejecting the council for political reasons, they eventually accepted it again. But Charlemagne's court, the Frankish court, sort of composed a text called the Carolingian Book in Latin, right? That's the translation of the Latin. And in that book, it sort of accepted what the council had said, with a couple of exceptions, right? And one of those exceptions was they said that the Eucharist is a true icon of Christ. And they wanted to say that, I think originally, try to steelman their position, is they thought that by making too much of a point of that you were somehow saying that there was some disconnect between the Eucharist and Christ himself. And they didn't like that idea, right? And so, because of that, the Carolingian Book, which came to have theological authority in the West from that point forward, said that the Eucharist is a true icon, and because it is consubstantial with Christ, it is, you can worship it. It's not just veneration, it's Eucharistic adoration. So that then began the practice of Eucharistic adoration in the West. Eucharistic theology continued to develop in the West. This is also the origin of where you get that idea of consubstantiality, where you'll hear in Catholic theology that just the host becomes the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. That's a later development of Catholic theology based on that. So, yeah. So anyway, that was I missed a lot of stuff in the chat. I think there was wholesome and good stuff going on in the chat that I'm happy about. But, I wanted to get that in during that one game. So, there you have it. I played Storm. And, I did my best to explain that difference. Yeah, look, I only got 6 kills, but I got 25 assists. So there you go. So I don't know. Jacob has been doing a lot of streams during the day, and he's been doing a lot of streams where he's talking about political stuff that I don't particularly, So that's the main reason why I haven't appeared much. It's just I haven't had time. The time hasn't worked out and stuff. So, it's not that we don't like each other or anything. We're still pals. It's just that things haven't lined up. So at some point, I'm sure I will. It may not be till after Pascha, because things are just busy. I don't have a lot of nights off right now. So, yeah. So anyway, as promised, that was the last game. At least for now. So, I'll probably stream again sometime this week. You'll get a notification. But, thanks everybody.